Your success as a tutor will depend a great deal on your ability to accurately assess the student's problem. This is when the assessment of study practices will greatly benefit you. Students come for tutoring with a wide variety of academic problems. Some know exactly where they are having trouble, others will point out a general area of difficulty, and still others will only be able to describe vaguely the source of their confusion. As a tutor, you must respond to each student individually. If the student knows exactly what the difficulty is, you can immediately help solve the problem. There's no need to take time on further diagnosis. When the student can describe the difficulty only vaguely or generally, however, you must take the time to pinpoint the source of trouble before you can work effectively with the student. Is it a lack of basic skills? Is it insufficient preparation in the subject matter? Is it difficulty with current subject matter? Is it a lack of effective study skills? Each problem calls for a different solution. You can make a reliable assessment of the student's problem through informal questioning during your first meeting.
So what brings you to the tutoring center today?
I didn't do very good on my last test. I thought I was going to do a lot better, but I didn't. It was one of my worst test scores.
Okay, I can help. I'm just going to ask you a few questions just to get to know you a bit better first.
Okay.
So is this your first semester here at BYU-Idaho?
Making an accurate assessment of students' needs can be achieved by asking questions that relate to different aspects of the student's life. In this video, we will cover several different categories from which important information can be pulled, as well as provide you with the questions you will need to consider when learning about a different student. Here is the first category. Questioning in the following areas will be most helpful. What is the student's academic background, generally, and in the subject you are tutoring? What kind of high school did they attend? Was it vocationally oriented? Or was it a small school where there might have been a limited number of course offerings, lack of facilities, or equipment? What was their overall GPA? How did they do in similar courses to the one that they need help in now? How has the student done in other college classes? Is the student carrying a load that they can handle? Has the student completed all the prerequisites for the course that they're in now? Is the student attending class regularly? Have they missed a number of classes because of illness, or did they register late for the course? Sometimes tutors will spend as much time helping students learn to be students as they will spend helping those students learn the subject matter. Here is an example.
Do you understand the class lectures and assignments?
I know what my assignments are, but I get a little lost while my professor is lecturing.
Okay. Do you ever ask questions?
No, but I think I'm the only student that doesn't understand.
I totally understand that it feels that way sometimes when nobody else is asking questions, but trust me, the other students are just as afraid to ask questions as you are. Do you read the textbook before you go to class?
A tutor can also talk to the student about the coursework. Does the student understand the class lectures and assignments, the textbook, and what is expected of them during the semester? How will grades be determined? Quizzes, tests, homework, labs, oral reports, term papers, or project attendance, class participation, etc.? What is the student's attitude about school in general, about the course, or the instructor? Has the student discussed the problem with the professor yet? Another important question to ask is, what are the student's college plans? Are they working toward a specific degree? Does the student have a particular job in mind? Will the course provide him or her with the information or skills needed in future courses or on the job? If the student has no clear goals, or if they cannot see a connection between the materials they're trying to learn and its application in later life, motivation may be a problem. Let's watch this example.
What's your major?
I want to be a physical therapist, so I was thinking exercise physiology.
Okay, and do you know how this class fits into your major?
I think so. I was talking to my advisor, and they said I needed to take it first, so that's what I did.
Okay, yeah. Let me just give you an overview of why it's so important that you take it right now. Bio 264 lays the foundation for all of the other classes you're going to be taking in your major, and really for the rest of your career. This is just going to give you the fundamentals about how the human body works, and that's why it's so important.
How much time does the student spend studying? Does the student have an organized approach? Does the student follow any kind of schedule? Are there specific study skills in which the student feels they need help? Has the student taken any tests yet? How did they score? Were there incorrect answers in a specific area? What other kinds of tests or quizzes will be given in the class? How many tests will be given during the semester? Will tests be based on lecture, notes, the text, or a workbook? If the student is older, Have they been out of school for a number of years? Does the problem relate to getting back into the swing of things, or are they intimidated at the thought of competing with younger students? Another important category for assessing students is how well do they understand the resources that are available to them. Does the student know where campus resources are located and how to use them? For example, do they know where the Counseling Center, the Reading Center, the Writing Center, the Study Skills Center, the Math Center, and other services are for students with disabilities? Sometimes tutors need to take into account that students have other problems that are making learning difficult. For example, does the student have a basic learning issue, such as not being able to speak, read, or write adequately? Is there a physical handicap that prevents the student from seeing or hearing well? Is English a second language for the student? Does the student have difficulty understanding the text, lectures, or assignments? Does the student have a personal problem? For example, roommates, family, money, girlfriend or boyfriend issues that is affecting his or her ability to concentrate on school? Watch as this tutor asks about potential personal problems.
So, we've scheduled out your class time and your tutoring times. Do you have a job that you want to add to the schedule?
I don't have a job yet, but I am looking for one. I'm really wanting to find one soon. But it's been harder than I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Actually, my friend was just telling me about a place that's hiring. I could totally send you the information if you wanted.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Okay, after this appointment, do you want me to just text that to you?
In addition to informal questioning, there are other techniques that you may use to help isolate a student's problem. Have the student bring samples of his or her classwork, quizzes, tests, class notes, and homework so that you can see the kind of work that they do. Ask the student to point out a specific concept, procedure, or chapter with which they're having difficulty. Have them work a problem for you, explaining as they go along their process. Note the speed or slowness with which they work, their thoroughness, the kinds of mistakes they make, and the level of their work. Go over the course outline, reading or lab assignment sheet, or other handouts with them to clarify goals and requirements. Familiarize yourself with the textbook for the course. Some texts are available for checkout in the Tutoring Center reference library. Interview the instructor with the student's permission to determine course objectives, the basis of grading, kinds of examinations to be given, and kinds of material covered on exams. Ask for a copy of the course outline and reading assignment sheet. Ask the instructor to recommend supplemental reading materials that might help clarify the subject matter for the student. Once you have assessed the student's problem and determined the skill level, you are in a position to help set up some goals with them based on the skills that they need to develop and the specific skill you can help him or her acquire.